Hey everybody, welcome back to Dungeon Maker here on the World of Madness server. If I seem slightly, I suppose the phrase would be deranged today, it is because I have been incredibly busy. And I wish I could say that I had made myself busy by virtue of getting to task on making sure that everything around here works as smoothly and as cleanly as I can, getting it ready to be entreated upon by various denizens of the server to see how they can test their metal. And in truth, I have gotten some work done down here, so, for example, the entirety of these corridors is now suitably sandstoned, and I've even managed to find more of that cave that's big down here that's occasionally giving me this set of a mob somewhere, but yeah. But by and large, I'm afraid to say this is actually the pretty much complete total sum of what I've been able to get done. It is definitely nighttime, so I should be back in here. And the reason for that, if you were somehow not aware just yet, is that I'm attending MCM London in 2 days. So I have been pretty much run off my feet, if indeed I ever got off my feet to make these videos, making sure that video content will be completely unbroken by my absence from the office for the span of about 4 or 5 days. Believe it or not, for somebody who doesn't actually release videos every single day, that actually does require quite a bit of effort. So let me see, these videos, these ones, typically last about in the region of 20 minutes, give or take. And then I have to put them through editing, which means I have to handbrake them, which takes 5-10 minutes. I have to synchronize the audio track, which I have to clean, which is what you're hearing from my voice right now, with the actual handbrake face cam, and then I have to synchronize that with the video footage, which I usually do by a small little filter at the start, and then I have to add any clipping, any special effects. I have to do a bunch of background work, such as the work to get the actual... Is there a skeleton hiding in here? Yes, there is. To get, like, the actual work done so I can show you it and whatnot. And occasionally that means that I end up doing a time-lapse because it's sort of 2 birds with 1 stone. But even that takes several more hours. And then rendering, once I've gotten through all of that and added music and whatnot, takes an hour or 2. And that's just for this series. For XCOM 2, it can take up to like 5-6 hours total. For more complex series, where I'm having to do special visual effects and all sorts of other behind-the-scenes stuff, that can take even longer. And basically, I have been pushing forward as hard as I possibly can to make sure I've got as much as possible on as many of my series as possible way in advance of their release, so that I have a video every day that I'm away, so that you guys and gals and all other things beyond and between have stuff to look at whilst I'm at MCM, so that I'm not just sort of abandoning you. If you can't attend MCM, you will still have an unbroken line of content from me. And there are channels that put out videos on a daily basis. And in some cases, I genuinely do not know how they do it, but in other cases, it's a bit more obvious. They have shorter videos, they have less edited videos, or in a few cases, and these are definitely the luckiest of people, they have dedicated editors. Or they have a dedicated rendering computer, which can render out my kind of videos in, say, half an hour tops. Those machines, by the way, cost in the region of thousands of pounds, and with the pound plummeting, I can't imagine it's going to take a great deal less. Oh, there's the quarry. Yeah. I'm just taking a wander, by the way, whilst I ramble on about this stuff, because alas, I have relatively little to show today. Oh, hello. That's interesting. That is a sand biome mixing perfectly with a mesa biome by the looks of it, and I'm just admiring how the terrain is perfectly lined. But yes, other people who do not have, for example, a dedicated render machine, instead have multiple machines of my kind of caliber, Elemental's kind of caliber, that thereby enables them to render one video whilst editing or filming another. I can't do that because I only have one computer, I only have Elemental, and that would mean filming whilst I'm using the vast bulk of Elemental's processing capacity, which you could perhaps imagine would somewhat tank my frame rate. This is a very yellow mesa. I know there is a second ocean monument not too far from here, maybe I'll try and find that. But anyways, I digress. But if you don't have multiple machines, and you don't have a dedicated rendering machine, what you might have, to make pumping out videos that bit faster, is an editor. Is basically somebody else to make sure. I'm going to grab so many materials around here when it comes to time to do the cobalt section, which I have the tomb, I'm sure. Somebody else to do, I can't really say it's the grunt work, but it's the work that polishes your footage to make it that extra little bit entertaining. Now, you might think that, considering I do pretty much all of my videos in one take, which is to say I sit down, push record, and then I pretty much don't cut anything out, with the exception of XCOM 2, where I cut out load screens most of the time, that these videos don't require much in the way of editing. And as I've just described, no, they require a fair bit to be polished, to be of a quality I am reasonably proud of. And the reason is that if I didn't have, say, background music, so just for purposes of example, right now, I'm going to try and remember to, in the editing phase, turn off all of the background music. If I didn't do that, you would have this as the sound of your Foley. That's it. And whilst I know there are people who will enjoy simply the sound of me talking, and there are moments where you can have just the game audio of people doing stuff, and maybe the occasional sound of my noisy mechanical keyboard. I know that's a contentious point on YouTubers as well. It doesn't really work for entire videos. It's not impossible to manage it. As I say, you can have points that are quite suited to having no background music. You can use that for emphasis, in fact. If you always have background music and then it suddenly stops, just like what I've just done, then it's a great point to emphasize a moment, to say, hey, something significant has just changed in the soundscape, you should be paying attention. It's like when a horror movie has the or something in the background. I'm referencing Friday the 13th for those of you who don't know. So yeah, just that is a lone piece of, like, adjustment that needs to be done to make a video actually quality. And then there's my audio. My microphone here, my Rode Podcaster microphone, is a lovely piece of thing, but it's very sensitive. And you already know that it picks up the sound of my noisy keyboard, but it also picks up, if Elemental's having a pretty rough day, it'll pick up his actual computer fans running. And it'll pick up the sound of just me sniffling if I'm a bit ill or something. Basically, it will pick up any noise at all that I don't want it to, which means I have to shove it through processing to make it not have those sounds. And then there's the other factor of, you might not know this because of the editing, but I'm actually quite a quiet person. I'm actually quite subdued in my volume. I'm sure there's a litany of historical and childhood reasons for that, but what that means is I also have to pump up my volume, my speaking up volume, so that you don't have to dial your YouTube player volume way up to hear me. And the general rule in that regard is that people are happy to turn volume knobs down, but not necessarily to turn them up. I prefer you to not have to, basically. And that does cause a little bit of wobbliness with my audio, but nonetheless it works okay. So that's something else I have to do. I do both the noise reduction and the volume increase inside of Audacity, which is very good at that. I'm actually using Audacity directly to record my audio right now, separate to my face cam, so yay. So I actually have, like, a track of audio from my face cam that I could maybe use to emphasize, but I don't remember that part. So there really is... I'm rambling, of course. You know me. You know I ramble. But there really is no meaningful way to say edit less in a video. If you have the capacity to edit when you're making Minecraft videos or when you're making YouTube videos, when you're making just videos, basically, on the internet, you don't really have any excuse not to do some refining and some editing, adding some background music and that kind of thing, cite responsibly, if you have the capacity to. And that then means that you're gonna be spending a fair bit of time. I'm gonna get very lost here. I'm glad I've got the coordinates to the tomb written down. But yeah, that then means that there is a certain wage of time, and when you're a one-man operation like I am, even if you're not doing videos every single day of the week, I only do 5 a week. Although it is one of my Patreon milestones to do a video every single day. I have no idea what I will do if I ever hit that. But just in case you know, if you build patreon.com/line, it's in the description below. But I work a lot, and I work very hard, and I don't tend to, like, complain about that, because it's, on a certain level, it's not really work for me. I play video games. I ramble on at a camera for 20-odd minutes, and I shove it all together, and it gets rendered, and I shove it up, and there's so many automated processes, basically, that I just can't do simultaneously, but that I don't need to be present for a lot of the time. But I do kind of run myself ragged a lot of the time. And it would be good if I had a potentially higher quality microphone that didn't catch all that background noise I don't want it to, that didn't require me to crank the audio up. It would be nice if I had a dedicated rendering machine that could spit out my videos in like half an hour rather than 2. It'd be nice if I had a dedicated editor. It would all be nice, but it's not the case. So, consequently, it's me. It's me that has to do all the work, and I presume I've been here before, judging by that. Is there a tree around here? Because I'm not carrying any wood. I'm carrying a stack of sea lanterns because they're free for me now, so why would I not? But somebody's been here, evidently. There's a tree over there. I'll go grab that. I'm not... Oh, somebody's been here fairly recent. Well, recently. This chunk has just been loaded. Somebody left the area in a hurry, presumably. That's interesting. Oh, and some rotten flesh too. I guess we're finding out which direction they went. Ooh, CSI Minecraft, always fun. So yeah, I do run myself ragged. I've been running myself even more ragged this month, getting ready for MCM. And I do have to say, there is no job, pretty much, in the world that I would rather be doing than this. I'm very happy in my current profession. I just wish it involved less work into the wee hours. Fuzz is constantly getting on at me about how much I work myself overtime and such. My average work week, I think I've had to calculate this a few times, is in the region of 55-60 hours. And if you're too young to have a job, then you might not know, but the average full-time job is 40. I work very hard. It's not unusual for for somebody who is self-employed, a single-man operation of a business and whatnot, to work longer hours than a typical standard work week in that regard. But it should give you some idea of how hard I work, I guess, as if I haven't already. Hey. So yes, I apologize that I have not been able to get as much done on a few things this month that I would have liked to. For instance, when we did the most recent Spring Realms dungeon, I was in a very big hurry right up until the dungeon actually opened to ensure that everything was... Hello, that's... That was some wooden planks. Yes, somebody has... And some sandstone. Interesting. I wonder who was around here. Well, sorry, mate. I think your crafting table just took a hit. Oh, and here comes another creeper. No, I did not grab it either. Yeah. Well, 'tis fine, 'tis fine. We shall make a new one in quite a bit of haste. There we go. We're fine. Phew. So, let me see. Yes, for the most recent Spring Realms dungeon opening, which was Mariboka the Furious, who is our fire, blacksmithy, war god kind of thing. We opened the Cold Forge, and I was literally working on that to the hour at the end, and then we had a hiccup because I was in such a hurry, and we had to wait for me to download a backup of the map that thankfully had been made mere hours beforehand, that I could then draw the appropriate schematics from and then get everything working. And in the end we were okay. Only a couple of hiccups that I've since been ironed out. Every time I open one of these dungeons, I have, like, it's me and Aeneas that are working on it. We can't let people into it without changing the way the dungeon region works so people can cheat, basically. But every time we do one of these, it's just me and Aeneas basically testing it. And sometimes we have the time to test it in the case of Priscilla. Other times, we don't. Which was the case with the Cold Forge recently. So I didn't see a number of bugs and tweaks that needed to be done ahead of time, which I've now done the vast majority, if not all of them. But yeah, I was... And let me see... I wanted to do quite a bit more Spring Realms as well. I wanted to get a whole ton of stuff done here. Admittedly, having to build into the ocean is not helping me, even if I do have all the skills I've honed from doing the Guardian Grinder. Which is why I now have this stack of sea lanterns. I should just leave these and have people... There it is! That's the second ocean monument. I knew it existed. I'm not going to go in there, obviously, this episode. I've made that mistake before. But it is here. We'll just park ourselves here for now. So if somebody else on the World of Madness server would like to take a stab at this, the coordinates are 1,739 and negative 699, or negative 700 if you prefer. So, just off the beaten track to the... Is that... Let's see, positive X? I think that's the X-axis. So, basically to the east. Let me see, what else haven't I managed to get done? I wanted to do more with Mating Do. You'll notice the episodes for Mating Do, the past couple of episodes have... Well, one of them was delayed by the better part of a week, and another one was very short indeed. And so I think it's the next one that comes up. And I want those episodes to be longer, but it is a matter of making... Well, firstly, aligning me with Fuzz, because Fuzz, by virtue of their messed up sleep schedules, I can't claim any better, obviously, and their chronic fatigue syndrome, Fuzz is not necessarily up for filming at any given moment on any given day, so consequently I have to align with that, and then there's a matter of we have a bunch to get done, so we have to do it as quickly as we can, and that tends to lead to shortening, and that is a bit of light. Is that a pool of lava, I should wonder? Judging by the dip of the terrain, I think it is. Phew. I suppose I'll bed down here for the night, as it were. Oh, of course there's a creeper. Of course there is. Well, maybe I can convince him to wander into the fire. Who knows? Meanwhile, look, there we go. Lying was here, you know, because they used a sea lantern as a torch. I have no perishables. Okay. Just use this sandstone that I happened to find. I guess that's another sign that it was me. Yeah, nope. Up. And further. Additionally up, please. And just a block there so nothing climbs up. Okay. So I shall camp out here for the night, as it were. Bloop. So, yeah, I apologize for not getting as much done this month as I would have liked to. I know that there's a few people who I still owe Patreon rewards to, assuming they want to utilize them to their exacting standards, I don't know. And there is a lot more that I should get done on the next dungeon for Spring Realms, but I'm not going to have time to do so before MCM, so... Alas, alas, the wages of a self-employed, single-man business YouTuber. But yes, hopefully next month we'll see more going on, and we might even have something special for Christmas. Who knows? We might even actually get on at a point when there's more than me on the server here. I'm starting to feel a little bit like I've been left in the apocalypse, the dystopia. I am the last man on Earth, as it were. Maybe we'll even get something involved in an episode. Who knows? But before I ramble even further, as the sun dawns, I shall catch you all, hopefully at MCM this weekend, but otherwise, I shall catch you next time.